guys, speaking of 911 Carrera T, here we go. So first two things you'll notice, you get the titanium grey accents, such as the wheels, the decal right here, the badges, and the mirror caps. This is a T exclusive option. You also get the wheels in titanium grey as well, although these wheels technically aren't exclusive to the Carrera T. Another thing you'll notice right here is you get the new Ruby Star Neo color as part of the 2023 updates. This was part of the Paint to Sample color palette, but they have moved it to the special color palette to make it a bit more affordable for those. Another thing that isn't so obvious is that you don't get a cabriolet version with the Carrera T. It's a more driver focused option here, so you don't get the cabriolet version. You also get a few performance enhancement options on the outside, such as the sport exhaust system. And a thing that's also not incredibly obvious is that it shares its powertrain with the Carrera, not the Carrera S, as some may know. So if you want a bit more power, the Carrera T isn't for you, but if you want some pure driving experience, the Carrera T is definitely for you. Moving down to wheel selections. The Carrera T comes standard with the 2021 Carrera S wheels in titanium grey as standard, as I mentioned before. This is an inch bigger, both front and rear respectively, than the wheel standard on the 911 Carrera, which is based on. You can also paint these in high gloss black and satin black. I wouldn't do that. I think it kind of doesn't match the T exclusive titanium grey accents. You can also get other wheel choices as well. It's all down to personal preference. I would stick with the standard ones because they are $2,440 cheaper. New for 2023 is also a ridiculously expensive option called titanium wheel bolts. This shaves 2.2 pounds per vehicle. So if you want to shave off that last millisecond of lap time, you may do this, but in my opinion, it's actually a bit of a waste. A much more reasonable option is the locking wheel bolts, which aren't available with these. So if you don't want your wheel bolts to be stolen, you can get the titanium wheel bolts. Moving on to the interior, the T gets its exclusive interior treatment. You can get some specific accents as well, which really make the interior look better in my opinion, because the T is only available with a black interior. Unlike the normal 911, which has leather, this has cloth seat centers and also doesn't have a rear seat, although you can add this back as a no-cost option, as you'll see later. The accents also gives you this really nice colored seat centers, which in my opinion look really nice and premium. So I think for $2,400 it's quite expensive, but it's definitely worth it. You can also get the leather interior, so this basically gives you the dash, the door tops, and smooth leather as well, as Porsche calls it. Some people really like this option, I really do as well, but for the T, which is a driving machine, I would probably do without this option. Another thing that's standard with the T is Sport Seats Plus right here. The normal 911 gets the Sport Seats, which offer enough bolstering, but some people do prefer the Sport Seats Plus. So as you can see here, it has a 4-way standard adjustment. You can add an 18-way adjustment for $2,800. It depends on the person buying this if they want to do this or not. You can also do deviated interior stitching as well. As you can see, this is the aforementioned rear seat option. If you add this, you get, well, rear seats. Also in the exclusive green accents if you go for the green accents. I would personally do this because the rear seats are really for emergency use cases, but you never know when they will come in handy. And then you can also fold them down if you want to carry cargo as well. Moving on. Another option that I would definitely recommend every 911 buyer who's not buying a cabriolet or a Targa to get is the electric slide and tilt sunroof and glass. It really does make the interior feel a bit more airy, especially in a car with such a low roofline. Now, as you can see here, performance. This is actually very important for the T buyer, because not all 911s are available with the manual transmission. By 911s, I mean 911 Carreras. The base Carrera isn't available with a manual transmission. However, the Carrera T is. So if you want the 911 Carrera's base powertrain with a manual transmission, this is the only way to get it. You can also get the 8-speed PDK transmission. This will make your 0-60 time faster, but some might say that it makes the driving experience less engaging. So I would definitely go for the manual. However, it's also worth knowing that if you get the 8-speed PDK, you can get adaptive cruise control. This isn't the same story with the 7-speed manual transmission. As you can see here, if I try to select it, it will remove the 7-speed manual for me. So it depends on your use case for the car. Now moving back to performance, we have front axle lift system. This is an option I would recommend getting because the suspension on the T is actually lower by 10 millimeters, so I would recommend getting this. Now, there are two things worth mentioning here. You have the Porsche design sub-second clock and the exclusive design tailpipes and silver options. However, what you won't see is the option for sport exhaust system and a sport chrono package. This is because it's standard on the T already. Another two options I highly recommend getting are the extended range fuel tank and the power steering plus. These two options, they are really essential in every Porsche in my opinion. For the extended range fuel tank, I think you all know what it means, and for power steering plus, it basically reduces the weight of the steering in lower speeds and increases the weight of the steering in higher speeds. If you don't like this option, which some don't, you can disable it in your dealership. However, if you don't select this option, you won't be able to enable it. I will also recommend rear axle steering. On the base Carrera model, you won't be able to get this option, so as a T exclusive option, I highly recommend this. I also like the dynamic light system plus. It basically makes the front headlamps adaptive, and when going around corners you really do notice the difference. Another incredibly pricey option here that's also worth a mention is the LED matrix headlamps. These headlamps, in my opinion, look very good. The newest government recently removed the legislation that banned this option in the US. So if you do a lot of nighttime driving, I recommend this option. For a sports car, I recommend surround view sound system. Although in 911s, the surround view system is only okay. It isn't particularly good. However, it isn't horrible as, say, a Lexus's surround view system. I'll also get lane change assist. This basically gives you blind spot monitoring. Adaptive cruise control, as I said before, isn't available with the manual transmission, so sadly we can't get that. Moving on to interior, I would get ambient lighting. Ventilated seats are a nice to have option. However, if you get those seats, you won't be able to get the accents on the interior. You can only get a full black interior if you want those seats, and the T-specific cloth inserts are also removed and are replaced with leather because they have to be perforated in order to fit the necessary hardware for seat ventilation. I also add the storage package. It basically gives you a net in the passenger side footwell. No cost option. Now moving down, I will also add the Sports Chrono stopwatch dial in lizard green. This looks a bit tacky for some. I personally don't mind it. I also add the central tack as well. This, in my opinion, goes nicely with the seats accents as well, and really does make the black interior of the Carrera T look a bit more premium. Another option I really like is the steering console lid with Porsche Quest. Now I may get a ton of comments saying how a waste this is. However, in my opinion, I think it actually looks very premium, and it just lets every time you go into a car and open your steering console, know that you're driving a Porsche, which is very nice, in my opinion at least. Moving down to race tux or Alcantara options. One thing I would definitely add is a heated GT Sport steering wheel in race tux, so it's basically a heated Alcantara steering wheel. It's It's sad that an Alcantara steering wheel is an extra cost option on the Carrera C, but it is relatively cheap at $200, so I won't really complain. It also gives you the manual transmission shift boot in race ticks as well. I will also get the roof lining race ticks to replace the cloth. Last but not least, moving down to aluminum, I would add pedals and footrest in aluminum. I think it looks very premium with the aluminum pedals. I would skip the Burmeister sound system and I would add a delivery experience, European delivery. So just to round things out. So summary, we added $18,000 in options for 911 Carrera, and this is without carbon ceramic brakes or adaptive cruise control, and it's also without stuff like metallic paint. You can see how expensive 911s can get. However, for some, this is the quote-unquote budget option. I really do like the 911 Courtesy. I think it represents a nice sweet spot and makes the driving experience just that more enjoyable without requiring you to pay the ridiculous price of a GTS or a GT3. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't, well, give it a dislike. I don't care that much about dislikes. Be sure to comment down below. I'll try to respond the best I can, and thanks for watching.